Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. You are at the Frequency of Abundance group. This is live. We are here today. I'm Natan Verhovsky, your host with the most, and we are going to have us some fun. We do captivating talks. If you're new here and you haven't seen us before, this is the Frequency of Abundance group. It is a free group over on LinkedIn. All you have to do is go to LinkedIn, type in the Frequency of Abundance, click on groups, and you're there. Come join us, have some fun. So all of these talks, and we'd love to invite you to come join us and be a guest. They're all happening there. They're live. They're rebroadcast the last week of every month because we do a whole month in a season. Can you believe it? Or a whole season in a month, depending on how you like to talk. So in that space, what we're looking at is giving you the last week to binge all the content of that season and give you a chance to go, oh, here's maybe some episodes I missed. Now, where we're coming from on the 7 days a week, you guys get to see where it is. This was the last week of this season 2. So coming out of January, we were looking at 3 days left. Today is developing emotional intelligence for leaders. We are on Triumphant Thursdays. Tomorrow's going to be Fearless Friday, stress management techniques for busy professionals. Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, come on over. On the weekends, I let you sleep in a bit. So I'll see you at 1 p.m. Eastern. And Soaring Saturday, well, actually, it's a successful Saturday. You're going to have the art of effective communication. And to end season 2 on Soaring Sunday, we're going to have cultivating a growth mindset. So stay tuned for the next couple days. Super, super exciting. Now, today, we're going to be developing emotional intelligence for leaders. So this is the place to discover, how can it enhance your leadership skills? Are you an owner, a founder, a leader, an executive, a C-suite? You need to improve team dynamics. You need to improve leadership skills. You need to drive meaningful results in your personal and professional life. So this might be one of those cool places. We're going to learn how to recognize and manage emotions effectively. We're going to discover very, very specific strategy, takeaway action items that you can do immediately that are going to build stronger connections with your team. And maybe gain a couple tools leading to empathy, inspiring trust, the good stuff. That's why we're developing emotional intelligence for leaders. That's what today's awesome sauce is. Now, let me put my contact info in the chat. There you go. And if you wanted to get a hold of me, 3 different reasons, 3 different ways, and I can see it right there. There it is. Awesome. So it's popping up. So, number 1, I've been an elite energy coach for the last 30 years, working with Olympians, Cirque du Soleil acrobats, artists, national sports teams from around the world. Had about 15,000 people come through my hands. 2 best-selling books on energy. And I wanted to, when COVID hit and we pivoted and came online, I wanted to make sure that there was a place for all the coaches, the healers, the specialists, the experts that were trying to help and do some good in the world. I wanted anything like technology or marketing or sales or anything else that could possibly be tripping them up to no longer be tripping them up. So we created Allura Creative Agency. We're a public relations house. We blow a dog whistle specifically to C-suite leaders, executives, founders, professionals. And we basically help hunt those whales for you. So we'll put on one-of-a-kind events, leadership roundtable series, financial fireside chats, health, wealth, prosperity forums, you name it, and they delight your target audience. They come, they get tickled pink, and they want to work with you. It's that simple, and it's that magical. So reach out to me if we can help you at the highest level on your brand. Reach out to me one level below if you want to be a guest on the show. If you want to have your message bigged up and thrown out live. I got about 10,000 people on LinkedIn, about 5,000 on Facebook. Lots of eyes every day on here. Hundreds of people over in the free community. Lots of eyes waiting. Lots of places for you to play. There's even a paid community for us. It's tens of dollars a month. But in it, you'll join others. You'll get a chance to have support. The tide is truly raising all boats. So there's group activities, there's networking, there's ways to come to group coaching. You get accountability partners. So much fun. So reach out to me if you'd like to play and get yourself some big whales. Reach out to me if you want to big up your message and get on one of my shows and have some fun. Reach out to me if you'd like to see and learn and do a little bit more, but more quietly on the back end, and join our community and join us at the Frequency of Abundance group. And of course, if it serves you, by all means. I've been doing this for a minute for a few people. Let me know if any kind of elite energy work and getting you as a peak performer from 9 out of 10 to maybe 9.1 or 9.2. If that resonates with you, share some love, put some comments in the chat. Give us a little bit of happy times. I want to make sure everyone's hearing and alive. Good. All right, let's get this party started. So, I don't want to get into too much of the meaning and definition. I'm pretty sure we all got where emotional intelligence is coming from. Pretty sure we all know how to define a leader. And so let's jump straight into exercises. Specific action item, takeaways, what we can do. We're going to talk about what the heck it's for, like what's the objective, how to practice it, and then what the benefit is. Like, why are you doing this? So, these are the specific exercises that are going to help leaders develop emotional intelligence. Numero uno, number one, let's do an emotional awareness exercise. So the objective is to identify and understand your emotions. Pretty tricky to have emotional intelligence without figuring that one out. How? How do we practice this? Okay, you set aside 5 minutes daily to check on yourself. Not a big deal. 5 minutes daily. You check in with yourself. You ask, what am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? How is this emotion affecting my thoughts and my actions? What am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? How is this emotion affecting my thoughts and actions? 5 minutes every day, check in with yourself. Obviously, write down your observations in a journal. So that's how you practice it. Your benefit? It's going to increase self-awareness. It's going to help you in recognizing patterns because those thoughts get into those emotional trigger states and that leads to actions. Good, bad, and different, but it leads to actions. This will help you understand where those are coming from. So exercise number one, emotional awareness exercise. Numero deux. Let's do an active listening practice. This is going to be big for any type of relationship building. So objective is going to be to improve empathy and connections with others. We talked about the difference between empathy and sympathy before. One of my mentors gave me the example of you're on a cruise ship, it's at high seas and rocking, somebody's on the deck and they're sitting over the edge and they're feeling nauseous and seasick to all heck. If you come over and you feel sympathetic with them, you too then share that emotion and feeling and you also now feel sick as heck. If instead you show empathy and become empathetic, you'll go get them a glass of water. So while you appreciate what they're going through and you can empathize with it, in no way, shape, or form do you need to experience it. You do not need to sympathize it. And that is such a fundamental difference from where you could be coming from. So active listening practice, exercise number two, the objective is to improve empathy and connection with others. Now, how do we practice it? We will, it's kind of obvious. I want to make sure that it's basic enough to be followed. During conversations, focus solely on the speaker. Don't wait to speak. Don't wait to be, okay, now it's my turn. Just focus solely on the speaker. Avoid interrupting them. Avoid any kind of, I'm going to get a response ready to go. I'm going to formulate that while they're speaking. Don't think about what you want to say. Don't wait to say. Don't look for an opening to say. Avoid interrupting. Just focus solely on the speaker. And to make sure you're doing this right, paraphrase what they said to ensure understanding. So, John, what I hear you saying is that correct? Yes, great. The benefit is going to be pretty obvious. It's going to enhance understanding. Once people know that you understand them, that helps build trust. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Enhance understanding, build the trust, active listening practice, exercise 2. Exercise 3. Let's do an emotional regulation drill. So the objective is managing emotional reactions effectively. And it's a big step up from when we first said, hey, let's take 5 minutes to check in with ourselves and acknowledge what's going on, to, hey, let's make sure that we focus solely on the person that's talking and let them be the whole thing that you're concentrating on. No part of you split waiting to speak or looking for an opening or formulating what you're going to say. Now, let's take a look at that emotional regulation drill. So now let's regulate those emotions. Let's manage the emotions and the emotional reactions effectively. How to practice. All right. When facing a triggering situation, pause before reacting. That little simple step is going to be huge. Use the stop method. S-T-O-P. Stop. Number one, stop. So the S is for stop. You guessed it. Pause immediately. T, take a deep breath. O, observe. What's happening internally and externally? Maybe internally, you're feeling tightness and some anxiety and a closure of the throat and your stomach's turning over. Maybe externally, it's creating like you're sweating, you're getting hot, you're getting uncomfortable. P, proceed. Respond intentionally rather than impulsively. So, emotional regulation drill, managing emotional reactions effectively is much easier when you practice stop. When you're facing an emotionally triggering situation, stop, S, pause immediately. T, take a deep breath. O, observe what's happening internally and externally. P, proceed. Respond intentionally. This is what I want to do. Not impulsively. This always triggers me and this is what always happens. You're better than that. So share some love, give a thumbs up if you like, if you follow, if you're going through. Know that everything we're talking about today, as in any of our talks, it's available for you, not just at the Frequency of Abundance group, whether it's the free group on LinkedIn or the paid group where you can come join the community. Know that it's here for you, selfishly, self-servingly, to help you become a better person. Because as always, you got to put your mask on first before you can help put somebody else's, right? So if this gets you better, righteous. If on top of that it extends to family and friends, wow, what a huge circle. If you're a therapist of any kind, if you're a healer, someone that works with others, imagine putting these in your tool belt, using these exercises to big up and help somebody else, and add to your arsenal so that you look even more impressive. These are all meant to share. All my techniques are here to help rise all boats in the tide. If I can be part of that tide, what a blessing. So we've gotten your benefit is pretty obvious from your emotional regulation drill. It's going to help maintain composure. It's going to help you make rational decisions. That's a big one. Excuse me. Making emotional decisions rarely lends itself to, woohoo, that went well. Almost never. If it does, it's accidental and not intentional. So going into your emotional reactions rationally, intentionally, rather than impulsively, that's going to be a big one. Know that that's available for you anytime you're looking for. Number 4, let's look at a perspective-taking exercise. And this will help put things in context. So the objective would be, let's develop empathy and understand others' emotions, now that we're so good at understanding our own, right? How to practice. Let's think of a recent conflict or misunderstanding. Imagine the situation from the other person's point of view. Ask yourself, what might they be feeling? What factors could be influencing their behavior? Getting to that level of empathy is really going to be key for you to promote compassion, reduce conflicts. It's letting them speak and then going deeper into putting yourself into their shoes. And that is such an incredible place, because it helps lend itself towards understanding. Even if you're misunderstanding the fact that you're trying so hard, the other person wants to try hard too. So that's beautiful. Let's look at, there's only a couple more. I'm not going to keep you all day. Let's look at gratitude reflection. That exercise is neat. The objective is to cultivate a positive mindset. That's all. How do we practice it? Well, we started at the beginning of the day, focusing on certain things, giving ourselves 5 minutes during the day. Okay. This is at the end of the day. Write down 3 things you're grateful for related to your team or your leadership role. Maybe you're grateful that you get to see people progress in their career with you and grow personally and professionally. Maybe you're grateful that your team is there to take so much off your plate, all things that you're not happy doing and not good at doing, and thus somebody who's much happier and much better doing it. What a blessing. So at the end of the day, write down 3 things you're grateful for related to your team or your leadership role. And I want you to remember the benefit is going to foster positivity. It's going to improve team relationships. Because when you come in there and you're grateful and they see the smile, and you're like, what are you smiling about? Oh, I'm grateful. What are you grateful for? I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful. And I'm, aw, thanks. How do you not feel great when somebody says they're grateful for you? Kind of weird, right? So you'd have to. And thus they go on to their day in just the happiest, positive way. Let's do 2 more. We can put a bow on emotional intelligence for leaders. Let's look at the feedback journal. I know we've mentioned it before, and it's important because things that get measured get improved, and the best way to do something like that is to write it down. We talked about multiple versions from Post-it notes. If you're old school like me, you do it, you write a task, and then you get the joy of crumpling it, tossing it in the bin when you're done. Love that feeling. Off my mind as well. I know that isn't something I need to revisit. You lock the door, you lock the door. You don't have to go back 3 times and double check. You know. So, in this case, feedback journal, the objective is just to use feedback to grow and develop. Nothing deeper or more than that. Something significant. Something significant in there. Now, when we start and when we know that we're coming from that place of abundance, this is the Frequency of Abundance group, you'll resonate and vibrate at a higher frequency. So imagine you were one of those lights, that moths are attracted to. You vibrate at a different frequency. You shine at a different light. All of a sudden, the radiance changes, and that which becomes attracted to you changes. And so now all of a sudden, something different and beautiful gets attracted to you. You vibrate at a higher frequency. Something at a higher frequency acknowledges it. If you were vibrating lower, it wouldn't even hear you. So, like a dog whistle, it's you, and you look around. Anyone else hear that? No, that was just for me. Neat. Yeah, this is just for you. Feedback journal. How to practice it? Well, after receiving feedback, positive or negative, write it down. This is going to be neat because you'll start to experience immediately when somebody tells you good or bad things about you. You're going to get an emotional trigger, but I want you to write down what emotions did it trigger. I want you to take a look at what can you learn from it. Look at how will you act on it constructively. And that is a longer, slower practice because it'll take time to go back, reflect, look, plot your progress, so you can see that growth, right? That beauty of gratitude equals abundance. And that's where I think the magic is really, really coming from. So the benefit's going to be to encourage growth and adaptability. Yeah, wouldn't have thought that with your feedback journal, but it's about your flexibility, your adaptability. That comes from you going back in and acknowledging patterns that you see time and time again. And that won't happen if you don't write it down. It won't happen if you don't write it down and then go back to take a look. So, do the good stuff. You can't just put toothpaste on your toothbrush. That's half of it. You're doing great. Got to do the brushy brush thing. That's just how that works. So, when we looked at things like aerobic activity and knowing that the first 20 minutes doesn't count, gets you huffy and puffy, but it's not aerobic activity. You're not burning calories at this high rate. Are you burning some calories? Sure. But what if you're trying to get to that aerobic activity state and you don't get to that 140 beats a minute? Well, then you're not going to get aerobic. Okay, I got to 140. Oh, but I couldn't sustain it. Then you're not going to get aerobic. Hold on, you're telling me I got to get to 140 beats? Yeah. And then once I'm at 140 beats, that's when I start the stop clock? Yeah. And then once I sustain the 140 beats for 20 minutes, that's when aerobic activity kicks in and goes into high gear and fat burns and all that calorie stuff? Yeah. So I've got 2 stop clocks. 1, how long it takes me to get to 140 beats a minute. 2, Once that's there, has that been 20 minutes? And then the real stop clock starts. Now that you started burning calories at that high accelerated rate, congratulations, you've now started aerobic activity. So that first 20 minutes or longer, depending on how quickly you got up to pace, is what it took you to get here. It's no difference. It only starts once you're actually here, right? Like if you're a woman and you're pregnant, it's an incredible experience knowing that that's its own stop clock. But then the moment you deliver and give birth and you have a whole new life that you're responsible for, it starts a whole new stop clock, right? Completely independent than the pregnant one. So knowing that these are key and critical moments, they're empowering moments, go through them with those eyes, knowing that there's another stop clock that's going to start once you get to this stage. It's the same thing if you're online and you're looking for more impact, more visibility, more credibility, reaching a wider audience in your business. It's the same exact feeling. And if you're like, but I'm got the right message and I'm hitting the right people and I'm getting the right response, why the heck is this not successful yet? Have you been doing it long enough? Great that you're doing the right things, the right time to the right people. Unless you do it long enough, they will never come together. That's a lot of where people fail. They're absolutely really, really close. They just need to hang on a little bit longer, and that's when the good stuff happens. So as you're going through that, feedback journal, write it down. Explore your change, encourage your growth, and see where you got adaptable. Lastly, let's look at a mindfulness exercise. This is mindfulness meditation. So the objective is to stay present and calm under pressure. Wouldn't that be nice? Staying present and yet still calm amidst all the pressure. How to practice. Okay. Let's spend 5 to 10 minutes focusing on your breath. We went through quite a few of these, so you can do a box breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. Inhale for 4 beats of your heart. Hold for 4 beats. Exhale for 4 beats of your heart. Hold for 4 beats. Find your pulse. Makes this a lot easier. Eyes open, eyes closed. Up to you. The deeper you go, the deeper you go. The rewards are incremental. So as you go deeper, more and more benefits get unlocked. Practice that type of breathing. Practice another kind of breathing. We talked about where you inhale for 4, hold for 6, exhale for 7. And the last one, the super breath, we talked about inhale for 6, hold for 8, exhale for 8. And it'll reset the physiology, it'll calm you down, it'll put you into a completely different... That's how you can truly stay, positive in the moment, but at the same time clear. So that's where we want to be present and calm under pressure. Spend 5-10 minutes a day focusing on your breath, using a guided meditation, a mindfulness app, anything that you like. Notice as your mind wanders, gently bring your focus back. Imagine yourself on a beautiful shore on a river bank, and the river's flowing, and here's a leaf and a 2 or 3 or 4, and they're floating down the river. Each of those leaves is a thought. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, these too will pass. And watch them with no difference. Like a parent watching all his children, loves them all. There's no difference. Good leaf, bad leaf, good thought, bad thought. They all just go down. Your job is to sit back and just observe and enjoy. Watch the thoughts as they go down through the stream in your consciousness. Gently bring them back with your focus if you see them getting off. If you see so many of the same colored leaves, change that. The benefit would be huge. It's obviously going to reduce stress. That's a big one because when you're less stressed, that's a good thing. And it's going to increase your emotional regulation. And that's where we really wanted to focus on. This was a mindfulness meditation focusing on breath. We did the feedback journal where you're going to be looking at growth, developing, and your adaptability over time. We talked about gratitude reflection, and at the end of the day, writing down 3 things for your team, for your leadership role. We looked at perspective and asking from other people what they might be feeling and what might be influencing their behavior. We looked at emotional regulations in that drill and the word stop and how to use it to not feel triggered so that you can respond intentionally rather than impulsively. We looked at active listening and how you can be present in the moment just there with that person, not formulating your response, not waiting for your moment to say something, not looking for a pause. It's going to enhance that understanding and build trust. And we started the party off way back at the beginning with an emotional awareness exercise where you're just going to take 5 minutes a day and check in with you, right? Time for a little self-care. I'm treating me right. You got to put your mask on first. I'm here all week, every day. We're wrapping up season 2. We got a couple more episodes left. Join us. It's got Friday coming up, stress management techniques for busy professionals. That's Fearless Friday. Successful Saturday's got the art of effective communication. And we close and wrap season 2, ready for re-binging for the last couple of weeks of the month on Sunday. Soaring Sunday is going to be cultivating a growth mindset. So I can't wait to have you there. Today was developing emotional intelligence for leaders. Use it for you. Use it for family and friends. Reach out to me if you want to be on the show. Reach out to me if I can help with your energy. Reach out if you wanted to go big up and take your practice and your brand to a whole new wide audience and go hunt some whales with us. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much.